Thousands of holidaymakers are expected to travel back home as the Easter weekend winds down. Preliminary reports indicate that this year has seen a decline in road fatalities compared to last year. Traffic officials have reiterated calls for motorists to be cautious as the country's major roads are expected to be busy. Transport Department Spokesperson Lwazi Khoza joins us to give us an update on what's happening on the roads. Lwazi, very good morning. How will the Easter Road Safety Awareness Campaign be different, or has it been different this year compared to past years?
Good morning, Hugo, and good morning to the millions of other South Africans that are tuned in. The campaign this year was anchored on calling out to South African motorists and all road users, not just motorists, but pedestrians as well and passengers, to say that zitibe. So stop yourself and prevent yourself from being on the unfavorable side of the law, because a great deal of road carnage that we're witnessing, up to 87% of it, is as a result of driver behavior, motorist behavior, pedestrian behavior, and that we then classify as the human element and human contributing factor to road fatalities that we are witnessing. So the call was genuinely to South Africans to say, those that occupy our roads in their multiple forms and folds, please do exercise some form of caution, exercise some form of acknowledgement of the fact that you're not the only road user as and when you're occupying the road. So I think that looking at the numbers and what it is that has been trickling down over the last 4 days, we have witnessed that we have not had much major crashes that have claimed lives on our roads, and by major crashes, those are categorized as road accidents that have claimed 5 or more lives at the scene and potentially at a healthcare facility. So we've only witnessed one such an accident, and that was in the Eastern Cape on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. So we are encouraged that we are seeing greater volumes, obviously, of motor vehicles that are commuting on our roads, knowing that this is the second Easter season following the national state of disaster, which was removed last year on the 5th of April. And so last year was the first Easter season, and we did see that there were not much motorists on the roads. There was not much convergence within various places of worship and holiday making in that region. I think potentially anchored on the predominance of the COVID virus that was still of much scare to a great deal of people. But we have seen a greater volume of motorists occupying our roads, and I think we have equally deployed the necessary manpower through our traffic police officials at a national traffic police level. We're working alongside provincial governments with their traffic police, as well as metropolitan municipality traffic police that we have also been working alongside. So I think there's been great effort in ensuring that motorists and occupants of the road are cautious, but also in ensuring that the law is enforced with the various law enforcement wings that we have as a state.
Lwazi, we often have these conversations post-holiday periods, and we look at those numbers, and those numbers insistently are going up. Is this one of the few times that the numbers have come down, or does it often happen?
I think one would not want to speak on the facts and the numbers in terms of road carnage yet, because we are still yet to consolidate the stats. Knowing also that the Easter season this time around comes at a time when schools do open on Wednesday. So we're also expecting that there are also going to be greater volumes of motorists on the roads tomorrow, as parents and caregivers potentially commute with their children to where it is that they are attending school and prepare themselves for school on Wednesday. So we would be able to fully confirm and give comments on where it is that we are in terms of road crash fatalities. But I think it's important to make note of the fact that one life lost on our road is one life too many. So I think when we speak of road crash statistics and when we speak of road crashes that have claimed lives, it being a decrease or an increase is really not at the center of the work of what government is trying to do. We do try to limit the crashes that we are witnessing on our roads as much as we can, so much so that we do aim to have reduced road carnage by 50% in the year 2030. And I think that if we work together as a government, law officials as well as South African motorists, pedestrians, and those that occupy the roads, because passengers also play a critical role in ensuring that there is the exercising of road safety. So it is everyone's efforts to ensure that the numbers do decrease drastically and do decrease significantly, so that we do reach the benchmark of having halved the road carnage on our roads by the year 2030.
You mentioned the issue of pedestrians who, in many instances, are the cause of the accidents that are reported. Have you had many incidents in these last few days?
We have had some incidents in the last few days within various communities, and those that have been attended to by local police forces as well as provincial police forces. So we're awaiting the collation of data over the upcoming 2 days, and the minister will therefore then be announcing on what contributing, to what extent pedestrians did contribute to carnage that we have witnessed in this particular Easter season.
Now let's talk about the specific details of the educational programs that you've been conducting prior to the Easter holiday and obviously post that period, because I'd imagine it can't all be about a week or two before people start traveling. You want to have a continual program that creates that awareness and allows these motorists to start implementing some of the lessons that they've learned.
So the National Department of Transport has got a 365 days of road awareness campaign that is constantly ongoing, working alongside its various stakeholders, and its various stakeholders becomes then its implementing agents, and those are the entities that do report to the Department of Transport. When you're looking at SANRAL, you're looking at the Road Traffic Management Corporation, you're looking at RAF, you're looking at RTIA, you're looking as well as the cross-border CPRTA. So we do work around the year really to ensure that from an infrastructure perspective, that then brings in SANRAL, motorists are aware of the efforts that are being made to ensure that they are safe. But also there are constant activations that then take place in various spots to ensure that people do not potentially consume alcohol and get onto the roads. I know recently SANRAL had a campaign called Know Your Woe, which was alerting motorists and alerting those who do consume alcohol to please utilize other modes of transport following having consumed alcohol. So there are constant campaigns that are ongoing and concurrent to the Easter campaign as well as the festive season campaign, because we understand that road safety is not a seasonal activity. It is an all year round activity that we must all ensure that all stakeholders, all implementing agencies are all hands on deck. And South African motorists also play a very big part in ensuring that we do reach our desired goals of ensuring that the roads of this country are safe for all.
Now, one of the things I've learned over time is that feedback is super critical to any engagement that we do with the public. And my question is this: when you are carrying out various programs, do you then engage the public just in order to assess how much information that they've learnt from the exercises that you've carried out?
Absolutely. Stakeholder engagement, particularly community engagements and engagements with the public, are very important. They form a part of government's planning processes, because we know that we cannot plan in a silo outside of the receiving stakeholder, which then would be the South African motorist or pedestrian. I think that one thing that we have been able to prioritize as a government is the plea and the call for greater law enforcement by South African motorists, because we know that where it is that there has been a shortcoming of police visibility, there has been a scourge and an increase of lawlessness, and we therefore have ensured through working with RTMC as well as provincial governments and local governments, metro police, we're able to ensure that there is greater police visibility, because that has been seen and that has been listed as one of the priorities that have been brought forward to the department by the various motorists. So it is important for us that we continue to engage with our stakeholders, that we also allow for our stakeholders' concerns to inform the planning going forward in other engagements that we do see going forward. So we do feedback a lot. And we do constantly engage with what is topical, with what we would also see as necessary to ensure that the roads do become a safer place for all.
Lwazi, final question. How will law enforcement authorities ensure that drivers under the influence of drugs or alcohol are identified during the campaign? Because I do know that you work closely with the local authorities.
So not only have we been working with local authorities, we've also been working with the South African Police Services. And today, right here, we are at Moy Plaza working alongside as well Immigration Services as well as Home Affairs. So it's important for us that we have an integrated system where it is that drivers that are seen and are tested and have been found to be under the influence or at a high level or have a high level of substance within their bloodstreams do get processed within the necessary arms of the law, because we as a traffic department do not necessarily process legally, but we will then hand over to the South African Police Services. So you would see that a lot of the roadblocks that have been embarked on various parts of the country do have the presence of the South African Police Services as well, so that they then take on the processing and the charging of the various motorists that are found with substance or under the influence on our roads.
Lwazi Khoza, appreciate your time this morning. She's the Transport Department spokesperson, just bringing us up to speed with the progress made on the roads.